This is old cam.
And this is not a spring chicken. This is another test on 3D. And you're probably going, why do you guys do so many tests?
Because we've got a lot to find out. Because if people actually could watch the monitor like we can watch the monitor, our monitor shows that we're sort of yellow.
We look a little jaundiced.
But the problem is, if you look through the viewfinder on the camera, it doesn't. It looks reddish.
See, part of it is we have a brand new 3D camera, but it will work as a 3D camera, and we take the lens off and it'll work as a 2D camera.
And right now, we've got a wide-angle lens on this camera where the 3D lens would go. So,
which you took from the other one.
and they say, well, how is this going to be done in 3D? Well, through the miracle of optics, it's going to be done in 3D. Because we have the capabilities, we can do 3D, the two-camera the two-camera way. We can do it with a 3D camera with a permanent built-in two lenses. We can do it with a 3D camera with the removable two lens systems, or we can back end it like most people actually are doing today.
Mm-hmm.
But if we back end it though, it's because we don't have the 3D camera with us. Or because the light isn't right, because we've overthrown light at the moment trying to see what this is going to look like, and believe me, it does not look good on the monitor.
It looks horrible on the monitor.
It's horrible on the monitor. I mean, really, it looks like...
So we're going to go through color correction on this one, or we'll find out what it ends up looking like.
Yeah, because we won't really know, because like I said, if the cameraman basically sees it one way, but if you're looking through our monitor, it really looks horrible.
See, part of understanding the equipment is what you take and what it looks like, what it looks in the screen, and then what it ends up looking on the computer and what the output ends up looking like.
We know that you can't two lens a 3D system, and you basically can't 3D a screen behind us unless you basically got everything the same color and you're not wearing the same color anything. Because, I mean, ours is 12 foot long, this one's 12 foot, the next other's 25 foot. 25 foot, well, we've learned you cannot use that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because it basically absorbed the camera, this camera, which is a Panasonic 3D camera, has a magenta problem. Basically, it tends to tint everything magenta.
Now, do you think that's a problem with 3D in general, or just the Panasonic?
I don't know, because I don't have that problem with the other camera.
Mm-hmm.
And because it magentas us, so therefore, when we put the greenies, we have a rocky background that we use.
Mm-hmm.
And we use a rocky background because it actually has speakers sitting on both sides of us and stuff, and it basically the rocky background goes over the top of the speakers, and therefore it looks like you've got boulders sitting there too. But when we did it, it turned us green.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it turned us green. So we went to the blue background to see what we could do on that, and we're turned yellow now. We've turned yellow.
Oh, actually, now we'll have to try it with our green screen.
We have to try it with the regular
Right now we
green
have a blue
screen.
screen.
Yeah. So we're discovering, we're learning the strengths of the deficiencies. Like I said, one of the strengths is the fact that I was going to get a measuring tape, but basically from here to the camera is probably 10, 15 foot. This is basically, depth of field is 3 to 15 foot, so everything within that area is perfectly in focus. But that doesn't mean you can't shoot beyond, because we have done it to see if it could be done. It looks just as good for something 100 foot away. It's just as small and you can't focus in. But that's the trick, is that you can focus. One of our 3D cameras has a 4:1 zoom on it. We can zoom because the way the camera is built, which basically is a foreign camera naturally. So actually Panasonic's a foreign camera too. We have a German lens on it, and the German basically couldn't figure out the fact that you need to be able to zoom in and out to make the camera really work well. So I don't understand why it stops the zoom on it, because right now we got a wide angle on it. Doesn't stop the zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Yet.
That's right. Remember when we went to the camera store, they talked about different wide angle lenses,
Yeah.
that you could zoom through?
Yeah. This is one of them. We're lucky enough that this lens fits our JVC and fits the Panasonic both, which, like I said, the original Panasonic, basically it was a case built around two cameras in reality. Mm-hmm. The new Panasonic is a lens that you can take on and off, and it does make a difference. It really gives you some nice low-level light shots. Unfortunately not when we're doing the 3D stuff, because it basically eliminates a lot of mess, folks. but like I said, I'm assuming this is what's causing our green.
The background?
Yeah, because she's wearing a blue swimsuit, and basically it looks green.
No, it looks aqua,
Aqua, well,
or turquoise.
a turquoise, but it doesn't look blue anymore. It's a lighter blue than the chroma blue behind us, and so you got to get the whole from beginning to end of the 3D experience. You're learning on the learning curve, because most of the people that have 3D, well, we're experts in the field, and you wouldn't possibly understand. Well, yeah. I was in the field before they were born in most cases. Try 1952.
So part of it is if you work with video much, you understand that you key it off of colors like black, white, or skin tones.
Yeah.
When you're trying to figure out your coloration.
Yeah.
Because, whether you've got a fluorescent light bulb
Yeah.
or is natural sunlight, it can read totally different.
Yeah. So, and we're not. See, we have key lights, we have fill lights, we have floodlights, and we've got side lights. So this room is really well lit up at the moment. We overlit for this situation, and basically 3D can be done inside if it's basically lit up. We're talking, there can't be any dark spaces in the room.
Which is why on a TV set or movie set, when you see people and they're indoors, remember, there's always so much light that comes in.
Yeah.
It does get a little warm.
Well, this room is like 40 by 20. It's not high enough to put the overheads on that we need to fill in all of the empty spaces. See, we have shadows behind us because we don't have the means of removing these shadows, because if we did, we'd be a lot better. Like I said, it needs an ungodly amount of light to make 3D work. It's even more, if you do high def, you gotta learn that 3D is gonna take even more lighting. Cannot, like I said, we have spots in between, and we have a light, probably 20 foot away to our left. The next light is like 10 foot, the next light is like 10 foot, the next light is like 5 foot. And basically, there's too many gaps in the lighting system. And you say, well, God, what do we got? This is 100, 250, 400, 1400. I've got like 2,000 watts of light sitting on us right now. It's a lot of light. A lot of light. You can light up and outside with this much light. And here, like I said, we're not lit up enough, which is funny. But we're just trying to, like we're also doing a second test. We're trying to see actually how long this thing can record.
Yeah, and why would you do something like that? Because sometimes, well, actually, you know what? How much, for example, like when you take a picture, how much information is on that will differ based on how many colorful objects are in there.
Yeah.
What else? Light, all sorts of things. But what we're trying to test and see how long the chips last for, because the camera we're working with has no internal drive.
Yeah, there's no internal drive, and there's really no specs to tell you how long this stuff really lasts. They give you an estimate, but the estimate is built on cameras other than this camera.
I know. When you get those manuals, that's for multiple cameras.
Yeah, this camera, you can't even find batteries for it on sale. You can't find anything for it on sale. The company basically, if you damage something, you don't know where the hell you replace it.
We went to 4 cameras trying to find a battery for it. We finally got it online.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the places where did they sell those? No, they have. Well, part of it is, I think we could have bought it at the one store where we bought the camera, but it was like $100 for the battery.
Yeah, and it was for a smaller battery, and we want the bigger battery. And the battery, even though it says it's rated for 1 hour and 55 minutes, basically you'll run out of battery before you're going to run out of chip.
Yeah, it's like about 55 minutes of actual recording time.
Yeah. So, so if it says it's a 2-hour battery, it's not a 2-hour battery, it's less than an hour.
So we're testing, actually that's the other 2 things, which is besides how long the memory will last, is how long the battery will last.
We've done one battery test. We did, like I said, we ran the battery out for the chip, and so therefore we have to take the unique thing about the stupid Panasonic camera is you have to take the battery out to plug the power in, and you can't charge the battery at the same time you're running the power.
Oh, which is one of those other things, is just because it says it in the manual does not mean it is so. Because sometimes it covers different models, and sometimes there have been changes since they've created the manual.
No, this model it's the next generation of one that was previously on sale. That generation had
Had
an
an internal
drive, and the
Small.
battery would charge on the charger at the same time. What happens is, because you have to pull the battery on this, plug it into where the battery sets in order to run the camera. And on the other one, basically the battery plugged in from the side. I think that's what allowed the battery to charge at the same time.
Oh,
But they changed that, so we found that out real quick, and we know that, like, she's going to be trying to do some sunset pictures in a few days using this thing to see what it's gonna come out with, because this one is a CMOS camera versus our JVC, which is a CCD, but it's a 3-chip broadcast camera. So you should naturally get better with this, but it's all a learning curve for us, because this is we didn't realize until last night that our wide angle lens would fit on this camera.
yeah.
And the only reason it really fits is because our wide angle has three different settings on the wide angle lens, so it screws on 3 different types of ends. And it's just by some weird call, this is like a 46 millimeter ring on it on a 35 millimeter lens. Figure that one
Really?
out. Yeah, 35 millimeter wide angle lens with a 46 millimeter ring. That shouldn't be either, but I mean, it's just, you know, she's going to, she's going to be playing with it more, because she's going to have her hands all over the thing in a few, probably tomorrow, working on sunsets with it. So she's getting it.
No, I don't need it, I'm just practicing
No, but
for
she's
later
gonna-
in the week.
She's practicing but she's got to shoot it first to see how it works. So, and this takes really great god awful pictures too. Which you take a picture at the same time you're taking the video, which I think is nice. But like I said, it's a learning curve. Like I said, she is wearing blue. I mean, she's wearing
I think it's more turquoise when I look at it.
but it's still blue. It's not, the color you're seeing is not the color that her outfit is. This is actually the same color, which I think is amazing. This is chroma blue, and yet she's not chroma blue.
But I'm not wearing a chroma blue swimsuit.
But she's wearing a suit that should basically retain the same color. So,
And we have used it before like that.
yeah, we've been able to take out the background in this swimsuit at the same time. We've also done James Bond. We're going to do lots more James Bond stuff where we basically.
Oh, I like the James Bond stuff.
Where we take out her color and put other colors in. I've been playing with it, so, but like I said, this is just today's vlog on 3D shooting, so until the next vlog, this is all cam.
And this is not a spring chicken. We're here yesterday, today, and tomorrow, so join us for a 3D adventure.
That's right.